Hello, my name's Bill Widener. When I'm not bringing you the best in information and entertainment at your Lexington Public Library, I'm tearing your ears off every Friday night with 2 hours of alternative power, 8 to 10 p.m. on your only alternative left, 88.1 FM WRFL, Radio Free Lexington, on the Uncle Bill Show.
How do we get so high? It's a mystery of me.
I've wanted to be a DJ since I was a teenager, and one of the local stations kind of hit the skids, and I had the punk rock epiphany listening to this. I can do this. I can do better than this. And I've known all along. I mean, the first time I was on the air, two of the other people that were in the studio turned to me and said, "Have you done this before?" And I said, "No, this is my first time." And they went, "Oh." Yeah, Japanese psych combo Ghost on your only alternative Radio Free Lexington with Mex Square Blue from There's Llama Robbie Robbie, which you could see on the website, www.wrfl.fm, if I would just click on this button right here and enter that sucker. All right, there we go. Yeah, there it is right there, man. It's right there on the interwebs. Just like She-Rex, P-O-W-E-R, spells power, and those gals know it. From their eponymous debut EP, start off with Slow Thrust, a fast one called Cubicle. Kicking off their CD, Of Course You Do. Do you love your Uncle Bill? Of course you do, because you're here every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. for 2 hours of alternative power on your only alternative Radio Free Lexington. Let's rock.
I was born standing up, be prepared. Don't be ashamed, you were born on the north, be prepared. I was born in front of an argument, prepared. I was born with 20 bucks in my pocket. Don't be alarmed, we mean you no harm.
And I've got such a background. I mean, I was raised on bluegrass. My father played in a bluegrass band with his brothers. I listened to, 60s top 40, 70s top 40. I was there for the first punk bands, and I immediately went, "What is this? This is the most insane stuff I've ever heard. I got to have more of it." So, one of the great things about doing the general format show is that I can express all that. I mean, I was good at doing Catacombs. I did a good underground show. It was actually a lot more complex than people give it credit for. Back then it was just like, "Oh, that's just all that noisy stuff. Bill Widener, he just plays that noisy stuff." And it never was true. A lot of it was noisy, and you're going to remember getting a burn longer than getting a kiss. That's the way life works. But now I can be even more complex, and I can play Andy Williams next to Crowbar, and then I can play the Stranglers coming out of the latest hip hop joint, and everyone, I tell people about my show. If you don't like my show, it's like the Kentucky weather. Wait 5 minutes. It was very much like being part of a cult in the early days, because everyone lived and breathed in this place. They slept here, they ate here. There were different groups of friends and different cliques, different cadres that followed different kinds of music. But basically, it was very, very, very close. Of course, that can't last forever. I even wrote a poem about it, I'll spare you. But all Camelots fall, and often for the same reasons. Things change. Different generations come in. Different generations have different attitudes toward authority or toward how much of their life they're going to devote to the work and how much to the play. That's one thing that I admire about the recent generations, is that they're very focused. They're able to get a lot done. I mean, when I look back to the old days, it's amazing how much they got done, given how insane the parties were half the time, And of course, you got to keep in mind that I was in my 30s while this was going on. So that's another thing. That's one of the reasons I got the name Uncle Bill's, because by the time I started my show, I was already older than everybody else. I've been around for a while. So I was already a geezer in the eyes of these 20-somethings. And I've stuck around long enough that now the 20-somethings are geezers themselves.
Uncle Bill is the man. When I need something, any bit of knowledge about WRFL, being on the radio, anything, Uncle Bill is one of the guys you can absolutely rely on. He is part of the heart and soul and the weirdness that makes WRFL so very, very special.
I appreciate that. Your name was again? Yeah, I've been working on a project this week, so this is pretty much going to be what I call a bunny show, which means I'm going to pull it out of a hat. So, and sometimes those are the best shows. Like I said, you know, you've got to be able to walk on that high wire. Well, I've got gimmicks. I mean, when I first started doing the Uncle Bill show, I didn't have them at first, but then I came up with for instance, the overture. The first set is always connected somehow. For instance, today is going to be the Dog Tired set. All the songs will have, or albums or bands will have something to do with dogs. See, and I often don't come out and just say that. You're supposed to put this together on your own as you're listening to the show. I got smart people, they like the puzzles, you know? When I was doing daytime, I had the drive time gimmick, which at 5 o'clock, I would always play a song that had to do with driving, about wheels or cars or gasoline or the road or, Lord, I've gone down these many, many miles, and man, I never ran out of stuff. I mean, I still kick myself because when I left daytimes, there was still about 10 songs I was wanting to play that I didn't get to. When I went full-time at the library, I said, well, I guess I can't do this anymore. And he said, why not? Can't you do it at night? I said, well, yeah, I guess I could. Do you want me to? Yeah. So I got the shift that I got now, which is 8 to 10. And I used to do a 3-hour show. Now I'm glad it's a 2-hour show. Because, you know, I've been at this for a while. So, you know, I'm on my feet for 2 hours, and it's just like, every song is a ticking bomb that's about to go off, and I got to figure out which wire to cut, which is another reason why I don't like people calling me. You know, it's like, oh no, Paris is going to go up in flames. Hey man, could you, play me some Fish? So what time is it? 23, 26, 4 will take us to 30. Trying to figure out my timing. Got to make sure that every 15 minutes have some kind of break that gives the station number or end a set, you know. I try not to do sets that are longer than 30 minutes because a lot of people are listening in their cars. We have proven this through science. So you're really pushing their patience if you play like 40-minute sets, don't do any selling, which is what we call telling people what's going on. So, you know. And I got to figure out something to play right after this one. So let me think. Well, when the station started, it was all vinyl. I had a box full of LPs and 7 inches. All the promotional carts, as we say them, you know, the PSAs, they're done over the air. The promotional items were on like little 8-tracks. And we wrote down what we played on a clipboard. I think the next thing to come in was a CD player, and that's what made me a segue queen, because suddenly I was able to start things right on the button, and I became obsessed about, you know, getting that math together, making things add up and then equal awesome. So that was one impact that the technology had on me. I mean, it was still pretty much 50-50 CDs, vinyl. Now it's probably about 80-20 between CDs and vinyl. I don't play anything off the computer because I've tried in the past, and the devil box has betrayed me each and every time, so nope. No, I've warned them, if we go all digital, I'm out. I've got to have something I can touch. There has to be something palpable for me to work with it. That's, you know, I'm old. I'm a 20th century guy, okay? Grant Cart, the people that help get WRFL on the air. A lot of people like to play their carts coming out of a set. I don't like the way that sounds. I think that you should be old school. But
With 3 locations
and talk as you're coming out of the end of your set.
For lunch and dinner, serving pizza, pasta, salads, and more.
But still, this is going to end on a guitar tone, so I wanted something that would come out of that without being too jarring. Except for those times when I want to be jarring. You never know what's going to happen, okay? There is a logic, is what I'm trying to say. See what I mean? Tonally compatible and completely different from what came before it. Hey, hey. I actually joined WRFL because I was invited by Khaki Urch, who was the lady who got the ball rolling, got the organization started, and basically, you know, got the station on air, though she doesn't ever take credit for it. But she came to me and she said, look, if there's anybody that needs a radio show, it's you, Bill Widener. So I submitted a proposal. The GM had heard of none of the bands that I suggested, and he said, this guy's exactly what we need. I was on the first week that the station went on. I did a show known as The Catacombs, which was dedicated to what I called underground music, basically crazy stuff and muzzy stuff and droney stuff, thundering stuff, plundering stuff, from 1988 to October 2000. It was a lot of fun to put together, a lot more controlled than what I do now, because now I use music from what we call the play box, which is all the new material that's come in. And as a general format DJ, which is what I do now, I have to play a certain number of these tracks. Now, I always exceed that number because, wow, it's like Christmas every Friday. You know, you get here and it's like, wow, I've never heard this, I've never heard that. There's always constantly new bands coming out. That actually worked. One of the reasons that I have stuck around doing this is because I have a huge record collection that's partly mine and partly inherited from a dear deceased friend of mine, Sean McCartney, who was my cohort doing the Catacombs for many years. And I want to do a mixed show because everybody needs to see where everything came from and everybody needs to hear where it's going. See, because a lot of these kids think they know 80s music. No, you don't. A lot of these kids think they know 70s music. There's a lot of stuff that you haven't even heard of. Here it is. A lot of people think they've heard music from the 2000s. No, you missed a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm here to play it for you in between the new stuff. One of the reasons that I keep doing it is because, like my job at the library, I'm keeping the line between the past, the present, and the future open, showing how it all works together, how one thing is built on top of another, and that is going to lead to something else. And you can't always tell where it's going to go, which is one of the reasons I like to do my show a little more freestyle now. But that's the thrill. You know, where is this going to go? What's going to be the next trend? What's going to be the next big thing? Because we've been through so many trends and so many next big things that the surprise is, what can you do that's new? But somehow kids keep strapping on a guitar and they keep cranking that sucker up and it keeps ruling and I keep playing it. A lot of times I don't even know what the songs sound like. I just know how they start and how they end. And I needed them to start that way and I needed them to end that way. What's in between is just lucky happenstance. It's like, hey, woo, that was actually pretty cool, you know? I've been surprised that way, pleasantly surprised, and unpleasantly surprised. Suddenly there's a poetic interval in the middle of the song, or, you know, the guy changes his vocal quality and starts doing that high-pitched bit. And I need something that's going to go out with a ta-da, you know, because you can't just, once, yeah, boy. That's show business.